to live through this Hello, everybody, and welcome to Skills for All webinar. I think we'll wait for another minute or two, and then we'll be able to start. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining. My name is Marko Valencic, and I'm hosting IIHF Skills for All webinars. This season, we have seven Skills for All webinars, and today it's 11th of March 2026, and it's our sixth webinar of the season. And until now, we started with the countrywide development and moved to the recruitment and retention, moving to the learn to play, and then we talked about our IHF coach education. And then last month, we had pleasure from our Norwegian friends talking about their officiating development. And today we have one really interesting topic, which is a national team programming. And for all those previous and all those future webinars, you can find them on our you can find them all the recordings and all the presentations on our website. And to get to that website, you can find us via the link, or you can scan this QR code. And with this QR code, it will drive you to the main web page of the Skills for All webinars. And in those, you can see since 2020 all the presentations and all the seminars that we ran. And for every webinar, it's a similar pattern or same pattern that we have about it's about 45 to 60, maybe sometimes 70 minutes if we have a good discussion going afterwards. But it's me first talking a little bit with the housekeeping, and then we move to the main topic. And then after that, if there is applicable any IHF initiatives, and then after we have a discussion as well as questions and answers, and that all until the discussion is recorded, and it's on our web pages, and you can find them later on, or you can find previous ones as well. But the discussion we keep live, and we keep for people joining us, and that's why we encourage you all to join us live and to really be part of the discussion and dive deeper into the topics that we are working on. And today we are running via Zoom, and we will record it and then we'll put it on our webpage. And there is a chat option, as well as later on we'll have a discussion. So you can ask questions right away on the Zoom chat or questions and answers point, or you can ask it by yourself once we finish the presentation. But I don't want to drag you too long. And today I had a pleasure to talk with Teresa Sadilova, who is a GM, a General Manager of Women's National Teams from the Czech Ice Hockey Association. And she's really the main person for all the development that is happening and happened in the last couple of seasons in the women's part of the Czech Ice Hockey Federation. And she will talk today about the Olympic cycle, so what they did in those with the national team program, as well as all the programs they had for developing the women's sports, how they built that culture, those standards and support within the national team, as well as how the national team supported the developing the female hockey in the country. And then she'll talk about the youth national teams and the development pathway to those. And it was really interesting to talk to her, and interesting what they're having in Czech Federation, because it's a unique situation there. Or every federation is kind of unique, but I think for all of us listening and talking about this topic of developing the national team culture as well as developing the pathway to the national teams, Doesn't matter if male or female. It's really, really great examples and really great benchmarks what they did and they are doing, and they started and what they will start in the future. So I don't want to talk too much, and but let's listen to the video from Teresa.
Over the past 4 years. Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here and to be able to talk about a topic that's really important to me, and been fortunate enough to live through this over the past 4 years. Thanks to Marco for allowing me to speak today. So today's topic will be the national team programming uh, of the Czech Federation Women's Program uh, through the past 4 years, the past Olympic cycle. As I said, really excited about this. Also looking forward to the end of our presentation and some questions from you guys. So let's get it started. Uh, just here for from the beginning here, a little bit about me. So I have a background in Hockey Canada. I did an internship there a couple of years ago. So that's kind of where my hockey career evolved. I'm also currently the general manager of the Czech women's national team. Uh, that means, the senior team, the under 18 team, and of course the under 16 team. Uh, really important role for me. Really fortunate. I know I'm really young right now, but I can say that I got some experience in that area. I'm also the lead in the projects Hulk and Ellet, Girls on Ice, and Future Olympians. We'll hit on that in the presentation. I'll tell you a little more about these great projects. I'm also part of the IIHF family, part of the Women's Committee since 2023. Also, really fortunate. It's great to be able to work alongside of great female leaders and be able to push the women's game forward on the global stage as well. And one of my favorite roles was also I was the deputy general secretary of the 2025 IIHF Women's World Championship that took place in České Budějovice, Czechia. Great experience. I was able to learn so much about what really goes into hosting such a big event and what it takes to get it on the world stage. Two-time Olympian with the Czech team as a general manager, and 11-time I was able to attend the World Championship and 2 times the University Games. Okay, that's enough about me. Let's get it started. So, Czech women's hockey before 2022. This was, a little sad, but also gave us a lot of room to improve and build from the surface up. So there was really no vision, no plan, no projects in place before 2022. So as I said, it allowed us to start from scratch, to put our vision together. We put a lot of focus on the development side of things. Also the right culture to be in place, because we knew that we might have just one chance to get this right. So we wanted to make sure the culture around our program is healthy. And of course, pushing the high performance program, because that can make a difference if you get to be successful in that area. And the past 4 years have been the most successful period in the federation's history for women's hockey, which we're very proud of. The growth, performances, and achievements of our players have set a new benchmark for the sport in our country, which I cannot stress this enough. The women's hockey is really growing worldwide, and I'm really happy that we are not left behind. We have currently 8 players in the PWHL. The world of women's sports is shifting, so really happy that the Czech women's hockey is here to stay in that area. From zero to medals, path to success. We can see that some medals have been achieved. As I said, I'm really proud of this, but I also know that there's a lot of work behind the scenes uh, to make sure that this was gonna happen. So just to give you an idea what we were able to achieve in just short 4 years, and in all different age categories, senior team, under 18, and also the university team, which was something that also pushed us and helped us to push the game forward at home. Here are some pictures from the achievements, just to give you an idea, and really it doesn't get better than this. When we started, as I said, it meant that we wanted to do it right. So the vision, the strategy, and the goals had to be in place. So we basically focused on 2 sides. Of course, the national teams. You have the high performance team, which is the women's senior team, essentially the Olympic team. We want to have that area in the best shape, I would say. Then we have the development branch. We created the Future Olympians Under 19 program, which I'll be talking about a bit later. Really important for us, basically a bridge between the under 18 category and the senior team. Then, of course, the under 18 category and under 16 category. Then we have the development side. We have the leagues. So we have a women's league in Czech and a new league that's under 16 league for girls only. I will also touch on that a bit later. Then we have the Future Olympians program, which was established in 2022 after the Beijing Olympics. That was our first experience at the Olympic stage in terms of our program. And basically, what we've learned there is that our athletes were not ready for such event. We had no resources, we had no experience. So we've built a program that would first motivate our players to become Olympians, but also strategically get them ready for such an event as Olympic Games. Really good. We'll most likely continue with this as it was really motivational for the players and overall the program in the Czech Republic. So again, we have the under 19, but also under 15 category in that project, and also the academies. I will touch on that later. And last branch is Holkinelet, which is Girls on Ice program, recruitment events, development, summer camps, PR events. I have a little quote here. If the system doesn't work for you, you got to work the system. So we really put our vision together. And of course, this didn't happen overnight. We had a lot of work put into this, but I believe we took the right steps. You can always get better, but it was a fine foundation, I would say. The identity, set the tone. Really important to be on the same page when it comes to this. Across the national team staff and leaders of the project, like this was something that was, and I can't stress this enough how important this is to be on the same page. So we focused on such things as safe environment within the projects and also, of course, the national teams, long-term growth focus. Like we knew it's gonna take time, and we would have to take it one day at a time, basically. Building trust within the staff and the players, not fear. Like the modern approach, I would say, was crucial. We weren't afraid to be ambitious. So we set big goals. We were ambitious, which, sometimes that's a little tough for maybe European countries. So that was a game changer, I think. We had to choose the right staff, people who were qualified, but people who had vision and were really into making the dreams come true within the women's hockey. So you got to choose the right people who were willing to make the extra steps. The open door policy, the trust, again, that's something that was really crucial. And lastly, as we all know, the landscape of women's sports is shifting worldwide. Worldwide, so we didn't want to stay behind. We wanted to make sure the Czech women's hockey is there on the map, and that was also a big motivation part of all this. As I said, trust the process, one day at a time. So 4 seasons, each of them had a phase. The program had phases that would elevate each season, and we would make sure we were hitting those goals each season. Of course, the very last one was to medal at the 2026 Olympics. That did not happen for us, unfortunately, but I'm pretty happy with the rest of the goals. And again, we moved the game forward in the country, and we had a plan and we had a vision. So I would recommend put a plan in place and talk about it, and make sure you're all aligned. Standards. I have a picture of the dressing room here. I think this is so important. Of course, the dressing room is a space for that's filled with standards, but this also has to happen at the office. I think within your staff, you have to be aligned. You shouldn't lower your standards. You shouldn't lower your vision. And I'm really proud that this was something we've kept sacred, I think, throughout the 4 years. Of course, nothing's perfect. Sometimes you have to make compromises, but not at a cost of maybe the success of the program or the team. Just to give you an example, this is something we would send out to our players and the staff prior to each event. That would allow us to be on the same page, basically. It talks about respect. It talks about the positive of role modeling, team spirit, professionalism. That's a big part of it. And just respect for the game and the nation. Just to remember why we are all here and why we love the game of hockey, and just the respect of our country, for our country. So this is an example that you guys can use. I think it's nothing too complicated. Just sets a tone prior to each camp or tournament. I think this says it all. High standards plus high support equals elite environment. Something that I lived through for the past 4 years, and I think I'll continue living through this. Quality wise, this pushed our program for sure. Areas of focus within our program, national team or projects, was really to find the talent through the scouting. So the projects, different leagues around the league, video analysis. We focused on technical and tactical development, individual skills, game decision making, player development, pathway to professional hockey, which really showed that this part was super important as women's hockey around the world's getting more and more professional. Physical preparation, of course, speed, strength, and injury prevention, but recovery maybe the most crucial one. Just making sure our players understand that all these areas are important. Leadership and team culture, and mental development, resilience, concentration, player well-being, nutrition and recovery, all those areas, understanding that, female body is a little different than male body, being able to understand what it takes to be a professional athlete at this level, taking care of your body. Really, really important. Building from the ground up. So this is our program basically from the lowest level to the highest level. So as I said before, our program starts with the Hokinelet project, which is an under 10 girls development project. Then we have the under 15s, under 16 league, under 16 national team, under 18 national team. Then we have the future Olympians, which creates a nice bridge between the under 18 and the senior team. Just to give you an idea, and it I think puts things into perspective that there is a pathway for our players, even though maybe we don't really have the best domestic league yet. There is still a path, and you can play hockey in Czech Republic and have a vision of what that might look like. So this was really important to put in place. This is a little picture of our dressing room. Be great. Again, the little confidence boost, something that really I think shifted our program. And this lady right here, I think, took a big part in this and played a key role. So we hired a Canadian coach in 2022, Carla McLeod. She was the first female on the Czech national bench, first head coach. She obviously has a Hockey Canada background, so she was part of that Golden Standard program, which kind of stays within you if you live through it. And of course, two-time Olympic medalist, gold medalist, definitely boosted the confidence within the team. Emotional intelligence played a big part in it, and her communication was player centered. Definitely something that our top performance team needed, because I personally feel like that we always had talented players. We always had skilled players, but we were just missing that extra little step, the confidence, the belief that we could be successful. And Carla was really someone that drove that thought within the team and also within the program. The staff. So as I said, you gotta choose the right people. It takes a village. This can apply to any program, I think, worldwide. You have to be aligned. You have to have the right leadership, and you have to be professional. I think those are three super important things. So just to give you an idea, within the top performance team, we had the GM, the head coach, assistant coach, who was also the head coach of the under 18 team. I will talk about that a little later. Another assistant coach, goalie coach, video coach, strength and conditioning coach, free equipment managers, free physios, a doctor, and a media manager. I think it's obviously a big number or a lot of people in our staff, but again, I think if you want to be successful, you have to have lots of professionals. You have to make sure the players are taken care of. There's nothing missing on daily basis, and really, really happy for this group. I think they did a lot of work for the program and really pushed our game forward here. As I said, you gotta choose the right people, but also in all the categories, you have to be a little bit more aligned maybe than you would think. So for our national teams, we had a shared playbook, one playing style across all age groups. of course, with respect to different levels of play. So the playbook looked a little different from the perspective of the senior team than the under 16 team, but the basics were the same. So that meant that if the under 16 player entered the program, she would even at that point understand what it takes to make the senior team, and that was crucial, I think, for us. Of course, the main person here was Carla McLeod, but we also had Dusan Andrashevsky, who is the assistant coach for the senior team. But as I mentioned before, he's the head coach of the under 18 team. Then the assistant coach for also the senior team was Jan Lucak, who is the head coach of the under 16 team. So the information would be shared throughout the program, and I think this was very much organic. Of course, they weren't able to attend all the philosophy, because it really made a difference to our program, and we just made sure that people were on the same page for this. Cooperation. As I said, in 2022, we really had no strategy, no cooperation, nothing really that would stick out for our program, no pathway. And we knew we wanted to be great. We knew we wanted to medal. We knew we wanted to be successful. But back in 2022 and seasons prior, we were still in the B group within the women's world. So that meant that we weren't really exposed to the best teams in the world. We kept playing the same teams, the European teams, and the idea of maybe playing the best teams in the world, such as US and Canada, was a little scary. So being able to connect with USA Hockey and build that cooperation, really grateful for that. So this meant that prior to every World's Championship, either senior team or under 18, we were able to play a pre-com game versus the US. So that kind of set the tone prior to the big events such as World Championship. And of course, at first we were losing badly, I would say, but that it showed us that we can play against them, and we have talented players, and we can match up against such a big program, and that allowed us to get our, let's say, confidence boosted a little bit, and really grateful for that cooperation, and just the memories we were able to share with Team USA, and I think it helped our players big time. And then in terms of the project, in terms of the under 18 category, or sorry, under 19 category, the future Olympians, which I will talk about later, but we were able to travel with them to Frölunda, to Sweden. We played against the, I would say right now, best club team in Europe, champions of the Swedish SDHL. And these young players were exposed to professional hockey, the European professional hockey. So also good opportunity for them. We did that always in August before the season. So good source of them getting ready for the season, but also for us to be able to see them in a tough game against good top players, European players. And it allowed us to just watch them in a different environment, in a different country, and also to get to know them. I think that was really important. I have a little quote here: if you want to improve your game, raise your game. Can't stress that enough. There are some pictures from that cooperation. Left side is USA Hockey Games and GM Katie Million. And on the right side, we have the Frölunda games with our under 19 program. As I said, good playing opportunity, but also good connection with the young players. We were able to have a bunch of meetings. We were talking about what scares them, maybe if they have any questions. We were able to talk to them about their dreams and goals. So it was a really special time for us, and it was in the off season, so it gave us some time to also take some time off from hockey. The development system, super crucial for us. As I said, we have the three main projects here: Hockey Nullet, Girls on Ice. So through the 4 years, we hosted 34 events, and we saw over 900 players. That's the age category of under 10. Then we have the Future Olympians under 15. We had 41 events and we saw 290 players. And the under 19 project held 36 events and we saw 173 players. That's a really good number for us. Of course, we want to make sure it gets pushed again in the next 4 years, but it's a great starting point, and it only shows that the game of women's hockey is only growing in our country. So a little more about the Girls on Ice project. So we focused on the age group 6 to 10. It's really basic hockey skill project. It's more about having fun, learning about the game. It's very positive environment. What we really tried to do, when possible, we would invite players from the Czech women's national team, so the top performance team, and they would go on the ice. They would talk to the little girls. They would maybe inspire them and motivate them, and this showed as a really good way of maybe pushing them to be more in a role model position, and it just made it more fun, I think, for the little players. Of course, activities include dry land and on ice drills, mini matches, teaching about teamwork, fair play, and hockey culture. The practical goal is talent identification and recruitment. So once they entered this project, they're in the system. We have their address, we have their information, and that gives us a good starting point for their, let's say, quote unquote career in the national team. Getting more girls into hockey at a young age and showing that it's a sport for them too. Over a few years, this has grown into a series with multiple stops around the Czech Republic. Yeah, that's true, because it became something. It became a project that everybody kind of knows about now in the Czech hockey culture, and really happy about that. So it's a fun event with no fee. We were fortunate enough to have a good enough budget to really just allow the players to just come to the ice rink, go on the ice and have fun. And for most of them, it was the first experience among just girls group, because the girls in Czech, they grew up playing hockey with boys, so really important too. There are some pictures from those events. As you can see, we have the national team jerseys here. We've used really the top or the senior team jerseys here, because I think that that's something that really shows that they have role models, and they can dream of playing like number 4, let's say Pejshova, and that was really crucial to be able to do that. Future Olympians project. So as I mentioned, this idea came about in Beijing in 2022, when I realized we really didn't have a pathway toward that big goal of the Olympics, and our players then were able to maybe dream about such events. So we really wanted to push it. We wanted to our players to have it kind of in the back of their minds, and I think it was the right step because I think in this at these Olympics we had three players on our roster who came through this from this project. It was Adela Shapovalivova, Barbara Juričková, and Linda Vocetková. So those three players were born basically through this project and were really good at the 2026 Olympics. So again, comprehensive development program that focuses on youth female hockey players with the aim of strengthening the overall women's hockey system in Czechia. It sits alongside competition and camps designed to give promising girls consistent, high quality training, competition, and a pathway toward national team selection. So they kind of entered the national team selection at the age of 14 or 13. It's intentionally designed to develop talent with an Olympic horizon in mind. A key focus is preparing players now so they can potentially compete at the 2026, 2030, or even 2034 Winter Olympic Games, aligning its mission specifically within Olympic timeframes. So that was the vision behind the program. Here are some pictures. It's more skilled focus. Again, we have the playbook in mind, the national team playbook in mind. So they obviously get to meet the coaches from the national team, and coaches get to meet the players. It really works well with the talent identification, I think. Gonna speed this up a little bit, but the future Olympians under 15 is more focused on the skills part, the off-ice practice, really core individual skills, skating, puck handling, shooting, technical skating habits, fundamental game practices used in women's international hockey. And at the end of every camp, because it's a one-day camp always, we have playing scrimmages. So our coaches are allowed to see how skills transfer into game contacts. These experiences are precisely the kind of sport-specific preparation and high-performance habit that elite players need long before they reach junior and senior national teams. One of the project's formal aims is to build a national database of talented players, essentially a talent pool that national team coaches can monitor as these athletes grow. So it will benefit you as the program, but also it will motivate the players. Also something that's really known right now among, I think, everyone in the women's hockey. And I think every young female player wants to be part of this program. So something really proud of. And we have the under 19. I already talked about this, but it is critical for us because it sits between the junior under 18 category and the senior category. The exact transition phase where many federations either lose athletes or fail to prepare them properly for elite competition. The age gap between those categories is quite big. So we created the under 19 level to bridge that the performance gap. So the players who finished their time with under 18 often need more physical development, faster tactical adaptation, exposure to senior style systems. So that's why we would go with this project to, let's say, for Lunda to play the pros in Sweden. And then, of course, time to mature mentally to get ready for that big step. And so the goal is, of course, to keep the players in the system. We would also do the centralized development camps, etc. We focused on different things: advanced skating sessions, strength and power diagnostics, video analysis session, and game simulation under pressure. We also, for this program, we did a cooperation with HC Sparta Praha, which is a big club in Czech hockey, men's obviously. So we were able to put together one season of basically practices. So we practice with this group every Tuesday in Prague. Really helped us, really pushed the program, and I believe it's one of the reasons why we achieved silver medal in 2024 in Switzerland in the under 18 category, because we also had younger players who were then pushed by the older players a little bit, and then were part of that team, and it really helped them. So if you have an opportunity to work with a local club, I would recommend. It's really great uh, for motivation purposes, and it also exposes girls and women's hockey to the big teams, big clubs. And this is the last part of our Future Olympians project program. This just happened last summer. So we realized we have good numbers. We have maybe potentially numbers that could be part of maybe starting a league. So we've put together uh, a league that's focused on under 16. We now have 10 teams in the league. What was crucial for us was to get the players for sure together within the girls group, but they are also allowed to still play with boys. So we didn't want to kind of take that away from them. It's designed for the 2010 through 2013 birth years. Um, so as I say here, players can still play in boys competition outside this league. Uh, Really good for us. Players who wanted to be part of this. And they had some regular season games. We also had Final Four. Our coaches were able to scout through this league big time, and I cannot stress this enough. This was really good decision, and we will most likely continue with this league. Let's see. So we had 52 games. The league was created with several development goals in mind. So, of course, regular game experience, young female players get consistent, high quality competitive games in a girls' league, retention and development. It aims to keep players engaged in hockey during a critical age period, a time many girls leave the sport due to lack of tailored competition. So this is true. After the age of 15, we have many girls in Czech quitting hockey because it's getting tougher for them to play alongside boys. Sharing maybe a dressing room, it just gets complicated, as you all may know. So creating something that was specially designed for girls was really important. Of course, we have to be a little brave here to be able to make that step, but it turned out to be a very good decision. We had a good federation link here through the coaches education. So the coaches of these 10 teams were able to talk to our national team coaches, share know-how. We were able to share the national team playbook with them. So it really worked well, and everyone was excited to take part in this league. Some pictures. Again, it was really special, and the girls were super excited to have to something so special. We also had 3 academies built in 3 different clubs. This is only like the really beginning of this, but academies are super important, and hopefully when I do this in 4 years, I'll be able to tell you that it's running smoothly and it's all set, but we're still at the starting point of all this. But we set the building stone, I think, and we wanna move forward with the academies. I think it's a good and the right choice. We'll go to the national teams now real quick. So under 16 serves as an early stage in the development pathway, of course. Participate in international friendlies, and we take part in such tournaments as the Olympic Youth Tournament, the Under 18 key development bridge between younger age groups and the senior women's national teams. Many players who excel at the Under 18 go on to play for the senior team, and we all, of course, participate in the Under 18 Women's Euro Hockey Tour and the Under 18 IIHF Championship. The team has been regularly competitive, often placing among the top 4 teams and using international exposure to develop its talent for the senior level. And the summit, the high performance team, senior women's national team. So in this category, our pool of players is usually around 50. We try to get as many girls in as possible to create a competition among the girls. I think this is really important. They have to feel that it's not, that their place on the team is not like, let's say, reserved. They have to fight for the spot. This kind of has to set the tone of where the program's going and where it should be and where it's going to be. So we really need the best of the best in this area. I put together here a little idea for you guys of what the season of the top performance teams looks like. So we usually start in July for the summer camp, second half of July. That's usually 50 players invited. Then we have 4 Women's Euro Hockey Tour tournaments together with Switzerland, Finland, and Sweden. So we play competition here. We usually get to see around 34 to 40 players through these tournaments. So that's a solid look as well. And then April is Women's Worlds. Now the times are changing a little bit. We'll have our Women's Worlds in November, but this is what the season looked like in the previous years, in those 4 years that I'm talking about today. So areas of focus: strength and conditioning, big topic, maybe the most important one. The level of women's hockey is shifting big time. The players are stronger, they're quicker. The rules are changing a little bit too. So our players have to adapt to it. And we really work with the level of play that's in the PWHL right now. And we're trying to we're focusing to be aiming towards that. So really important. Of course, the team performance, video analysis, high intensity practices, mental performance training. So we hired a mental performance coach in the past 2 seasons. This plays a big part in I think athletes' life, or preparation of a team for big events such as Worlds or Olympics. So I think if you have the opportunity, I would definitely look into it. And yeah, it's definitely where the game of hockey is aiming towards anyway. I think leadership and team culture, I already talked about that at the beginning. And of course, the nutrition and recovery, really important. Off-ice training, so strength and conditioning, all that. We have physical testing every summer. It's kind of really the first step of the season to see how our players doing. And you have to be able to compete. So you have to be able to have really good results in that area, I think. It plays a key role, as I said. National teams often have limited time together, as we all know, so consistent off-ice training program ensures players arrive at camps and tournaments already in top physical condition. This allows coaches and staff to focus more on team tactics and game preparations instead of basic fitness. So for us, we didn't want to focus on that during our camps or tournaments like this. That there is no time for that. As you guys know, you have to focus on games, not the fact that our players are not physically prepared. So setting the tone, setting the standard in that area was important, and to be aligned with players as well, that you have to be um, in certain physical condition to be able to make the team. Team culture. Here are some examples of what you guys can come up with. So we did a painting class, different activities. It's not just hockey. It has to be fun too. Your players are people to get to know them outside of the ring, get to know them. Uh, it doesn't always have to be hockey. There are different topics, and I think this is only gonna help your team culture and get to know them as people too. This is the tournament I was talking about, the Women's Euro Hockey Tour. Really grateful for the alignment with the federations. For Nation Tournament, it's really good quality prep before Worlds or Olympics. We've really worked in the past year for better marketing around this event, better promotion. We had good audiences around those 4 countries, and it helps to push the game forward in Europe, I think. This is a very recent, of course, Milano Cortina 2026. Really important part of the process, the last piece of the puzzle. Obviously, we weren't able to medal at this event, but I just wanted to touch a little bit on the mindset we had coming into this big event. Olympics can be tricky. It's a huge world event, not only focused on hockey. There's lots going on. It's a bit chaotic and lots of things that can distract the players and the team. So just want to talk about the mindset a little bit. So what we've kind of agreed on is that we were gonna be the team that gets distracted the least. We were gonna be the team that complains the least about different things. Obviously, the big topic at the Olympics is always the food, maybe the transportation, things not really going your way. The nice thing about the Olympics is that everyone's kind of in the same spot. Everyone has the same conditions. So we focused on the fact that we were gonna be the team that doesn't care, that's there to play hockey and focuses on one thing. So I think if you can, and if you can put together a goal for an event like this, I would recommend something like this. It worked really well. Again, as I said, we weren't able to medal, but it kept us from being distracted or complaining about stuff we cannot really control. Uh, Aiming towards the end here, I think marketing is of course super important part of modern sports, but for our program, we wanted to grow in these areas. So of course, it's the social media. We were able to reach 45,000 followers on Instagram. That's the account that's for a women's team only. So really good. In the middle here, I have a tweet from our Czech TV commentator. It's talking about the fact that our games at the Olympics had a viewership of over 1 million people watching. So again, if it excites people, if people are able to turn on the TV and watch the game, it means we are doing something right. So really proud of that too. And the last picture I will touch on a little bit later, but it only means that people also came into the arenas. Our players were part of PR campaigns. They were able to represent our sponsors. They were seen. Uh, this is where the game is going. We also had a movie made about the team last year, so it's a I think over an hour documentary about the 2024-2025 season, uh, which was pretty big here. It was also in the cinemas, so big milestone for our program and inspire the next. Making sure the players are the role models for the next generation. They're exposed to, you know, building maybe some relationship with the younger players, and they understand these roles they have, and they can make a difference for our game in the Czech Republic. So really proud of our group of players who are pushing really in that area, and it's really great. And this is the cherry on top. So, as I said, we hosted the 2025 Women's World Championship in Czech Republic. We set the new world record for overall attendance. Over 122,000 people attended. It changed everything, I think, for us, and lots of hard work was put into this tournament. But again, really happy for the players. They deserved it. They deserve to be cheered on. They deserve to be seen. And yeah, let's see if we can top this at some point again. But really proud of this one. Some pictures from that event. And this is my last slide. This is something I tried to remember. We're working with human beings. It's not that serious. Let's have fun. Fortunate enough to be able to maybe change some lives, make some dreams come through the job that I do, job that I love. So it's important to remember this sometimes. And I would like to end my presentation on this note. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. Marco, thank you. And yeah, really excited where the game of hockey, of the women's hockey, is headed, and really happy. If you have any questions, happy to answer them. If you wanna maybe ask somewhere else than here, here's my email or Instagram. Reach out if you need to at any point. Really happy to connect. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, Teresa, for presenting. And before we jump to the discussion part, I see there is quite a few questions coming. I would like to again inform you about our coaching symposium, which will be during the Men's World Championship top division, elite division in Zurich this year, and it will be 22nd and 23rd of May. And with that coaching symposium, the game tickets will be provided as well for two games, and then you can buy additional game passes as well. But more you can scan the QR code, or you can search on our web pages. And the focus on of that of the coaching symposium this season will be development and performance in modern ice hockey. So it will be really interesting topics and presenters, and we'll introduce them shortly later. But if you have any questions, there is an email as well regarding the accommodation or registration or any kind of logistics that might be into it. But again, you can scan the QR code and really go and check it out if there's any questions from your side. And like said again, the Skills for All webinars, we have all the recordings, and this recording as well as the presentation from this webinar will be on our web pages. and you can go there anytime and you can check any of them and go through them. And like Teresa said as well, that you can ask questions later on or send emails or messages. But we are soon in end of the season, and we are soon in April. And in April we'll have successful club examples. And what we chose for the successful club example, we will talk with Columbus Blue Jackets from the USA, and we will talk about the setup of non-traditional hockey market, because it's what when they started several years ago. There was almost no hockey there, and it's kind of an non-traditional market, even though it's in US. And talking about how they build that club structure, as well as they have a unique special development approach to the youth, which you will see that this might be unique for your country as well, and maybe you can take some part of it and really try to get those great examples, same what we saw from Teresa. And as one of part of it is that success factors for the future. So how do they see those success factors for their future, and what they want to accomplish and what they want to do? But for our recording, I just want to thank everybody. And if you want to receive direct email, so we send about 10 days prior to the webinar, we send direct email invitation for the next for the webinar. And if you want to receive it directly, please contact me, and I will be happy to add you to the emailing list. But thank you all for listening. And now we will now put you all as panelists. We stop recording, and we start with the discussion part.